Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations again to Energy. They qualify for the Masters LAN, but I can't believe I'm saying this. It's been so long. They don't just outright win the whole thing. We've still got our actual finals here ready to go. Let's take a look at the bracket and see exactly how we got here. It's going to be Soar Gaming out of North America. They're going up against Team Rival, the ones that shut down Energy at LAN for the first time in a couple years.
Definitely does feel a little bit weird saying, hey guys, our finals match, by the way, today is going to be between Soar Gaming and Team Rival, the EU powerhouse.
They're nuts.
And it's just... It's completely insane. Like, they have just been blowing everybody out of the water.
Really, really exciting stuff. Remember, Rival, they're already qualified to go to the Masters LAN. This is just for seeding, but these seeding games are very important, Chapo, because you know how you can kind of get burnt out throughout these tournaments. They were just talking about it there with Raffer. Getting the easier games in the early rounds to warm up and then get ready for the later games can be very, very helpful.
I mean, 100%. Once you win your first game, you're like, all right, boys, this is what it feels like. And then you just go into your next games and you're real confident in all your calls.
I mean, at the same time, though, sometimes it's nice having those more difficult rounds to warm you up because then you're in the mindset already of going as ham as possible.
Well, Rival's always trying to go ham, whether it's Deathwalker building Mystical Male Bellona with some stone-cutting sword and all that kind of good stuff, or his Opwatch solo. I mean, you never know what we're going to get here from Rival. Definitely going to be something spicy. Do you think that they've got anything left up their sleeve? I mean, there can't be anything past Opwatch solo, right?
I mean, after they beat Energy, I mean, they could bring out whatever they want. You know what I mean? They're feeling so confident, especially Deathwalker. I mean, he's been dominating this whole LAN.
Without a doubt. iceicebaby on the Kali as well.
Yep.
This team just seemed to have so much synergy, and we've talked about it consistently throughout this weekend. The more success they have, but just sticking together, even when they were at the bottom of the league last season, they don't make any roster changes. Only Energy and Team Eager can say the same, but they're all the way up top. Do you think this is what's allowed Rival to improve so rapidly?
I think what really just helped Rival improve the most is we've touched on it time and time again all weekend. It's just the fact that they've remained together this entire time. Time really is one of the greatest factors as far as establishing team synergy, and I think Oxygen Supremacy, while they weren't able to maintain their run all the way through, just goes to show how far team chemistry alone can take you.
Well, Soar, they made a couple roster changes towards the end of the spring split, but it hasn't hurt their team synergy whatsoever. There you can see on your far left, that's fineokay sitting right next to Homiefe, Andinster there in the mid lane. fineokay, new to the SPL, was a longtime Challenger Cup player, has been right on the cusp of breaking into the scene, and now that he's here, he's making it count. His KDA during the rest of the spring split was just disgustingly good. But here at LAN, fineokay has died one time. One time. The entire LAN. That's ridiculous.
It really is. And it was Uncle Zembo.
It was Uncle Zembo. There's even a qualifier for his death.
First he goes 13-0, and next thing you know, he's just only dying one time. You're starting to wonder if the man is even, stoppable at this point in time. And I think Deathwalker will be an excellent matchup for him to see how that's going to pan out.
Yeah, it was really fun watching him go up against Benji, up against the United, Soar, and fineokay end up being on top. And that's why they're facing off against this man, Kalas, the support player for Team Rival. He's the one at the head there of this squad. Definitely been around the scene for a little bit, but this is his team to lead. Let's take a listen to his words on how he does it.
I'm Kalas. My real name is Petar Matic. I play support for Team Rival. Played ranked and I was really good at it. Right. Ever since then, I kind of didn't really care about ranked, but before that, I was going at it. I'm actually just at home playing games or at my best friend's house, which is Deathwalker. So we've known each other for it's 8 years or even more, maybe 10. We've played a lot of games together, so our synergy is definitely one of the best synergies ever. But because he's solo laner, I'm support, we don't really do a lot together. We definitely want to prove ourselves that we can be the best, so we're definitely trying to get the win. I think that our own gameplay might be a problem with communication. If we can keep it up, we can definitely win.
So cool to hear Kalas talk about his longtime friend Deathwalker, and just the synergy they have. When you've been playing games with people throughout your entire life, it can really help in game. And Chapo, you can really talk about that because you were on a team with your own cousin, Brochacho.
I mean, the synergy between you and someone that you just love because not because they play Smite good or because this and that. You're just homies. And when you go into the game, it feels that way. You're just, wow, that was a good play, bro. You're sick, dude. And it feels good when your teammates telling you that, you know?
Always. A lot of those types of compliments going across the board here for Rival this weekend. Wlfy on his signature Ra has been absolutely nasty. Vote playing a lot of different hunters. And then Deathwalker and iceicebaby have really controlled the right side of the map for Rival.
And considering that iceicebaby has managed to make even Kali work, a god that we haven't seen at least in a LAN environment, and who knows how long. I can imagine that he would be willing to pull out anything, even the Gab at this point in time, and make it work.
I mean, how do you pick and ban against Rival right now? Those sunglasses, man. iceicebaby pulled him out in the interview, and now Deathwalker showing that he's not scared of nothing, and I can't blame him. The way he's been playing in that solo lane, whether it's the Bellona, whether it's the Guardians, or whether, hell, it's the Opwash, man. If it works, it works.
If it works, it works. I just want to see, so both teams have been playing off their solo laners, and that's not easy for me to say about Soar. This is something new.
Yeah.
I mean, fineokay has been popping off left and right. Does he play Atero is the question. I mean, I wouldn't want to do that when Deathwalker has been dominating the right lane, just getting pressure, sitting at speed, sitting at blue. But, I mean, we'll see what they do in the solo jungle.
Yeah, Homiefe seems to spend a little bit more time in the duo lane than most junglers that Rival has gone up against so far in this tournament. This is the first time Rival's played against a North American team here at this tournament, so there could be some differences there. Vote, known to play pretty aggressive in that lane, Taco, does have to worry about where Homiefe is on the map.
And Homiefe, I'm sure, is more than aware of how Vote MBK likes to play out these duo lane matchups. And so if he sticks to his thing, which is basically camping that duo lane, I think that it would be a really easy way for him to get to an early lead.
A lot of contested picks here that both teams really like to play. Ra's the first one that comes to mind. Both Wlfy and Andinster have really enjoyed playing that mage in the mid lane. But Rama is the other one that we saw quite a bit for Vetium and Vote as well as in the duo lane for Rival. Do you think that we'll see those two gods prioritized or maybe go a different route?
I think they will be prioritized, but I think the question now comes like Cabrakan, is that going to be banned? Is that not going to be banned? Are they going to give it? Are they not going to give it?
Yeah.
It's the Skadi for me. Are we going to be able to see Skadi, or I would like to see probably a Skadi Ram matchup between the two, because I want to see how the playstyles of particularly EU Skadi versus NA Ram and how it faces off, because you can tell alone from the build alone that they like prioritizing different options as far as hunter role is concerned. EU likes to lean more towards the auto attack based kind of play style, while NA will look at they'll look at whether the hunter's ability or auto attack based originally. But overall, Vote and Vetium, again, just two different kinds of hunters. One's aggressive, one's a little bit more passive. But from what I've seen from what I've seen on Vetium earlier today, he's definitely looking to go aggro.
He definitely is, and Vetium always seems to have these excellent performances here at LAN, always has solid showings, and all of Soar has really looked fairly solid throughout this tournament. Andinster in particular in that mid lane. We talked about his Raw already, but that Scylla that he was piloting up against E United was particularly impressive. I just wonder if they're willing to pick that into something like Wlfy's Isis that's a little bit more pressure-oriented.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing the Isis. He's been playing a lot of aggro. It's been the 3v3, but not with the support. It's been mid-jungle solo that have been really aggro and just controlling the right side of the map. So I would like to see the Isis again. The high CC, the high pressure could take him for a ride unless they pick the Zeus in response, because Andy's been playing a pretty good Zeus even though they've been losing when he plays Zeus.
I'd imagine that the mentality for Soar is to try and focus out Wlfy on those mid lane pressuring gods, because what it seems that Rival like to do is they like stacking the CC, most importantly, between support and mid lane, because the way that Callus and Wlfy are able to play off of each other really helps as far as setup is concerned on iceicebaby, and I think that's what's also allowing him to progress so quickly through that early to mid stage of the game and just start rapidly controlling the game.
I mean, there's a couple picks that seem to be pretty prioritized here between the two regions. Fafnir and Susano seem to be the main ones that EU seems to really, really like to play. Obviously, Adapting just showed us exactly why Susano is so popular, and Raffer on the Fafnir as well. Kalas known for playing an excellent Fafnir, but Jigz can also have that in his god pool. Do you expect Fafnir to be top pick, top ban material here?
I was gonna say that when we went back to the Cabrakan, the Fafnir is gonna be very prioritized. I mean, Jigz in love with the god, played it like throughout the whole season, and on the other end, EU loves Fafnir. He destroys early mid game, so much CC. The buff is ridiculous.
It's like every single support has an insane Fafnir in their arsenal right now. And I don't know what happened. It's like every now and then you just find a different support that cycles through where everybody's like, oh, I'm Ares. I'm going to land every chain now. Oh, I'm Amir. My walls are always perfect. And this time around, it's just Fafnir and destroying.
Just throwing those hammers out on cooldown. We're ready to go here in game 2. Let's get right into it. Picks and bans, or excuse me, game 1. This is the final set here of the Spring Gauntlet. Team Rival up against Soar Gaming, the finals here. I don't know if you expected to see these two in the finals, but this is what you're getting, and it's supposed to be a good one.
And this is hype as hell, honestly. Like, the fact that Rival, being Rival from that team that nobody would have ever expected to make it this far, and now they're looking to contest as the #1 team for Masters Land.
That would be exciting. #1 team out of the Gauntlet, we should clarify right there. Of course, out of Europe, you already have Obey and Dignitas qualified for Masters. In North America, it's Eager and LG respectively. The first few bans are in, and it's all Guardians. Khepri out of Rival. Soar immediately take away Kalas as Fafnir. And Rival, they don't want to see Andy on that Ra, banning it away.
The Khepri is interesting. I haven't seen Jigz play Khepri in a while. He's always been on the aggro supports, Bacchus, Fafnir, Ymir. But, you know, I guess that might be lack of information. You know, when you go and play in Europe to North America, you don't know what the other team plays.
I think the Khepri ban is also just coming out because Rival don't like trying to deal with the timing as far as the ultimate is concerned, because if you're even a second too soon, they're getting out of there scot-free on the back of that Khepri.
Last ban almost in here for Soar Gaming, taking a good long think about it. Susano certainly on their minds, potentially even Bellona. I mean, is it worthy to ban that away from Deathwalker at this point?
Yes.
He's just been that good, worthy of a ban, but that's not the Soar Gaming direction that they're going to go with. It's going to be Cirquet focusing out iceicebaby in that jungle, but Susano is available here for Rival. Cabrakan also open in this scenario, but it is going to be Susano for iceicebaby.
Cabrakan, Skadi. That would be two standard North American picks that I could definitely potentially see them looking to pick up. And if not that, then I would be thoroughly surprised, considering that every single team in NA has just been flabbergasted watching EU time and time again leave Cabrakan or Skadi open.
Well, they've got both available to them. And the thing about Soar Gaming and Cabrakan is that Homiefe has been playing this god ever since it became semi-popular, and he always just farms people with it. Now is a chance for Cabrakan to be a top-tier god, and Homiefe has the opportunity. Is that a decent matchup up against Susano, or is Susano a little bit too slippery for Cabrakan?
No, I actually think Cabrakan's very good versus Susano. I mean, he's very hard to kill in that 1-2 combo. But on top of that, how do you lock down Susano? CC, you need tons of it, and the Cabrakan does bring that to the table.
And on top of that, you also have to keep in mind that with the Cabrakan-Skadi combination, the collision aspect, you're just stuck bouncing around for eternity inside of that wall. Ooh. And instead, it's going to be the Sylvanus, which we haven't seen a whole lot of lately, but I'm happy to see a Sylvanus pick coming through here. That's a very, very strong dueling composition.
Early on Friday, Sylvanus was first pick, first ban all the time, and teams have just kind of steadily forgotten about the Guardian until right now when Jigz locks it in. I don't mind this pick because I don't know if Rival is going to take Cabrakan here for Deathwalker in that solo lane. I think that Soar might think they can grab it right before this ban phase.
100%, I agree with that. That's so smart from Soar. They know Rival doesn't want Cabrakan, has nothing to do with it. Played Bellona every game, a very aggressive solo laner every time. And so to hold off on that and be like, well, you know, we could take it back if we want third pick either way. So this is really smart from them.
Xing Chen could be in the solo lane, but also Kalas played it earlier on. I believe that was up against Energy in that support role, and it is going to be the Ram for Vote here up against the Skadi.
And I would probably expect the Xing 10 to be in that solo lane, especially, I mean, in the support role for Kalas, especially because they'd much rather have Deathwalker on a warrior that he can be much more aggressive with, like we've seen with him already on the Bellona. Soar Gaming probably going to opt to try and take away Bellona at this point in time, or even the Osiris as well. Just do not allow this man's Deathwalker to get anywhere near these auto attack based warriors.
Skadi, Sylvanus, Cabrakan. If you would have told Soar coming into this that those are the 3 gods they would get, they would have laughed their way to the banks. I'm sure they're very excited about their draft thus far. Osiris ban on point right there, Taco, waiting to see what Rival wants to go with here. Mid lane and solo are the 2 that we're expecting Soar to need.
I love the Zeus ban. You got tons. You have a double Guardian support right now. Even though Sylvanus does not have a very frontline aspect to him, he does have very protective. He can heal you. He can stand in front of you. He has a root. He has a lot of peel.
Sure.
So I like the Zeus ban. A very good ban on Rival's end.
Scylla going to be the other ban here, I would assume, if Rival's focusing out Andinster?
100%. You've been looking at the land. He's played 3 gods. Let's do the math.
He doesn't have too many left. Erlong Shen banned here by Soar. They're allowing Deathwalker to go the Bellona if he wants it.
I imagine the mindset behind this is if they take away the Erlong Shen, they have a lot less spammability as far as a cripple is concerned, because when you are Skadi and Sylvanus, you don't want to be having to deal with an Erlong Shen constantly trying to pin you down, especially not when there's a Susano or a Ram with the snipes coming towards you.
I get the Erlong Shen ban. I guess it's the Osiris one I'm a little bit more surprised by. I don't know if Deathwalker played it quite yet this weekend, and we played Erlong very well, and of course, we've been talking about his Bellona all weekend long. Either way, the Rival soul laner is going to have a chance. The Zhang Kui ban, also very curious, coming out of Rival. Maybe they heard some rumblings about what Soar wanted to do, but this leaves Scylla open for Andinster.
In my opinion, I think this is lack of information from teams. You could watch the games, but Zhang? Andinster? Hello?
I
think they just think that NA loves that pick because
Chaos.
Chaos is
Chaos is
set the
sabotaging.
NA meta.
Yeah, Chaos is sabotaging every other mid laner. Well, really helping them out, I guess, by getting Zhang Kui banned, even if they don't necessarily want to play them. Rival could be looking for a couple different things here. Mid lane is the obvious choice, and Deathwalker is still potentially looking for his god, though that Xing Chen could be going over to solo.
I mean, the Cabrakan isn't a guaranteed jungle pick either at this.
That's true.
You always have to consider that Homiefe could potentially just want something else, like a Fenrir even for the Scylla setup, or even the bots is available at this point in time. Thor, yeah, the Iron Homie, he's got a sick Thor.
Poseidon and the Bellona for Deathwalker. Another good draft coming out of Team Rival. Wlfy did play this Poseidon a little bit throughout this tournament, but didn't quite have as much success as he's been having on the Raw and Isis. Gonna have to take a look, see how the mid laner for Team Rival performs this time
But I
around.
think something that promotes the Poseidon pick is a Sylvanus. Sylvanus, what does he do? He heals. You try to keep the fight elongated. What does Poseidon do? He ends it real quick.
That's a good point, and Sylvanus definitely gets hurt by slows like from the Whirlpool, but on the other hand, Cabrakan does not. Slow immune when using that first ability, so difficult to lock down that Guardian that can also do plenty of damage to you. Waiting on the last pick here for Soar. Could be a jungler, or that could be Cabrakan's role. Could also be a solo laner for fineokay. No Terra bans right now, but it's going to be the Raven.
Here's a guy we haven't seen in a while.
Why is that, Taco? Short. We got to get into game soon.
Raven, he exerts lane pressure, but he doesn't necessarily do much else in the team fights.
Well, he's going to have to try and handle that Bellona in the lane, and with the way Deathwalker's been playing, good luck. But if there's one person who could do it right now, it's fineokay. Remember, only one death across all their games here at LAN coming into this one. Chapo, who do you think takes game number 1?
It was up to me. I wanted to say Soar. If I saw that team, I'd leave the game.
Taco?
I'm with him. If I saw that team, I'd lead the game, but we've seen EU versus NA before.
We'll have to wait and see. Team Rival trying to continue their hot streak and punch their ticket as a top seed coming out of the Spring Gauntlet. Tom and Toli ready to take it away.
Yeah, if I saw that team, I think I'd just leave the game as well. Skadi, Sylvanus, Cabrakan, Scylla, and Raven. When you see those strange gods that you haven't seen in a while, you just auto-assume that whoever picks them has something up their sleeve and it's going to work out.
Very aggressive composition for sure out of Soar Gaming. Team Rival, though, do have some tools at their disposal. Deathwalker playing the Bellona is going to be very obnoxious, trying to match fineokay, who's going to have to defend that only that one death streak that's so far that he has in the lane. Susano for the jungler out of Rival. Great idea, because he's been just killing it the whole time. You know, iceicebaby, he's basically hot. Nothing like his name refers him to.
Yeah, that's one thing that I noticed, that Team Rival here, I think as a unit, has been a bit stronger than Soar has been showing us so far. But without further ado, let's get into it. It's Soar Gaming versus Team Rival. These two teams are battling for the seeding at Smite Masters. The winner will go on, and they will be the top card, and that will mean that they will head up against, I believe, Obey.
Well, we'll see what's going to happen there, but they have to get through this best of 3 set first. Looking like there's not any crazy shenanigans going on at this point. Cabrakan starting off in that soul lane. Homiefe known to be playing a lot of aggressive gods generally. Haven't seen Cabrakan out of him recently, not too often.
Well, I like the Cabrakan on Homiefe because it's a character that can be both offensive and defensive at the same time, a la Thor, Fenrir, and some of our more classic junglers. I talked about it on stream, on the cast. I said the Odin pick didn't really thrill me. When you have an all-time great, you don't give him something silly that he can't carry on. And then I yelled at him in person. I said, "Homie, you're a much better player. Why are you playing the Odin?" He said, "Look, you know, I like Odin. And, you know, isn't it valuable to have a player that can do everything instead of just be one-sided?" And I said, yes, of course, but at the same time, if I have a Stradivarius, I'm going to be playing some fantastic music. I'm not going to play The Devil Went Down to Georgia. So that's really what I'm looking at, is put Homiefe on a character that he can do the heavy lifting, and I think that this character can do that unless he gets caught early. Very low is Homiefe. Bludgeon going to come down on top. There's the dash forward, and there's the kill. iceicebaby takes down Homie bright and early.
The rotation from Iceice and Wlfy after they clear the mid-wave, invading speed, able to not only do speed buff, not only do fire giant elementals, but cut off the pathing as Homiefe and fineokay were deterred by just Deathwalker that contested the counter speed buff invade.
And that's been the story so far. Deathwalker's been able to play like two separate people at the same time. Here he is on the Bellona that he's been so successful with so far. 2 assists scattered amongst the solo and the mid lane, and of course the kill going directly onto the jungler.
Not too much else going on in the duo lane as we're seeing Vote with Callus, the Ram Xing matchup. I love the idea of the Xing trying to really limit some of the in-hand damage potential out of Soar, because not only are you trying to focus out Skadi on Vetium, but that's going to hurt out Homiefe in the mid to late game stages.
And of course Jigz with those AoE basic attacks in the duo lane, helping out the push, so he'll be able to stop that as well. This is the second time we're seeing the Xing support in this series, not this series, excuse me, but today here on this Sunday. Collis played a little bit earlier, and although I think me and Ducky asked for the Ares, the playstyle was very similar. He was just very aggressive, looking for a lot of damage and a little bit of control at the same time.
Just having any option that's considered a beads burner. Xing not going to have the same effect in terms of an Ares where you have to use those beads against a no escape. However, Callus playing the Xing, you have the pancake flip, as you like to call it, being able to knock up and then root. That one ability has so much control that some players will actually opt to use the beads just to ensure that there's not going to take too much follow-up damage.
Well, I like the fact that both Callus and iceicebaby have abilities that can not only stun, but also direct and toss people directly into whatever Wlfy is doing, most notably the Whirlpool, and of course, the Kraken. So when you have a big burst mage like that, it's really helpful to have players that can sort of alter the direction of the opposition, and that's what we're going to be seeing. However, across the way, it's no slouches. Andinster, the hard carry, the classic hard carry. Moving over to the mid lane, I think a lot of the spotlight has also moved over to Homiefe in the jungle. But today, Sunday, it's been all about Andy coming through and crushing it. no pun intended, on the Scylla, and of course, lighten it up on the Ra as well. He's been extremely potent and extremely successful on these mid-mages since making his transition earlier in the year.
He's back on his Ra bench. Saw so much success with this Ra sustained mage out of the jungler, former jungler, now mid laner. Wlfy, though, Team Rival, 4 minutes in, cracking it. Soar, not even a clue.
I love that play. No chance in the world that Soar's going to come over and take anything because they just didn't know. And just like that, 4 minutes in, totally, we're looking at almost a 2,000 gold lead. That's a big deal.
Credited to the 2 wards positioned around those top left and mid harpies. Not able to really spot it out as Soar, and with the minimap vision that Rival had as well, they saw all the damage potential that was already preoccupied elsewhere.
One thing that I loved about that timing was Team Rival give up a wave in order to get that, and that's why they're able to get away with that. Soar are too busy concerning themselves with getting the wave because it's 3.5 minutes in. They don't realize that, well, Rival's missing in every lane because they're at the Gold Fury. I'll give up a wave for a Gold Fury.
Especially considering in Season 4, Gold Fury is worth more than Season 3. Not 190 gold starting and then about 9 gold per minute from that point on. And not only are you just losing away for about 2 or 3 players, but you're getting that back and then some for not only yourself, but the rest of your teammates throughout.
And of course, the experience that comes along for the ride, certainly a big deal as well. As you can see, the experience lead in the jungle just about a level, and just about a level in the mid lane, as Wlfy hits a level 8 there on the Poseidon.
And that's going to be a scary factor for Andinster. You know, as you're using your Alma Monster, you're basically going to be stationary during the channel time of the landing of that ability. So that's going to be an easy target for Wlfy just to throw out that Kraken. And once Wlfy hits level 9, especially considering he's going into this early Spear of the Magus, Andinster is going to take a lot of burst damage.
I mean, that's the classic going back to, well, we won't say classic, but that's a little bit of a page turn back to when Ryshan was popular in the meta. He would come out and bang on the drums and kind of just stand still. And that's where Vulcan and some of these other high burst mages came to really counteract that idea. Scylla, a little bit less dangerous than the Ryshan in her ultimate, but still certainly has that opportunity where she's just kind of chilling. And that's where Wlfy's going to go and try to capitalize off it, like you said.
You say less dangerous, but at the same time, if those Alma Monsters connect for the kills and the executions happen, that's even more scary, just like Jigz.
Oh, Jigz had the cute pull, but he puts himself in danger. Kalas goes ahead and gets credit for the kill onto Jigz, who was the one that initiated it. Homie just barely misses the ultimate, but ultimately, the kill goes to Team Rival. You know, right there, Jigz goes for the pull, totally. I think just sometimes you see those supports looking for the stun or the pull just to really set a statement. Jigz didn't realize that there was multiple players there, and he sets himself up for failure.
He tried to set his teammates up for success, but they were too far away from the follow-up continuation. Unfortunate death for Jigz, but it's still not that bad because he's going to have some defenses online now. Finishing off the reinforced shoes, having that mark of the Vanguard is going to be allowing him to be more resilient in these skirmishes. Not only that, as he gets these levels, the sustain from the Wisps is going to increase his health output.
Team Rival still maintaining their lead, in fact, growing it, and looking to grow it even more as they head towards the speed buff. Jigz brought down to half HP after just respawning. The lead right now for Team Rival just shy of 3,000 gold at 7 minutes totally. That means a lot. Well, you just hit 3K. Big deal for the blue team.
Absolutely. Team Rival looking very strong very early on, and that goes to show that they've been planning for this kind of matchup here, which is why they prioritized the Susano in the first pick. They're very comfortable with this aggressive god on this jungler that's been adapting ever since Season 4.
I caught it, but I'll ignore it. Really what it comes down to is the fact that Team Rival just have a number of tools to help Wlfy out, but also, sure, that's all well. iceicebaby has just been slaying it on the Susano. So as I say, feed the hot hand. Just give him what's working, make it keep on, just keep on keeping on. Team Rival beat the two-time defending world champions. Just keep doing it.
Sometimes you just got to never stop, never stopping.
I mean, all right, listen, man. Keep on keeping on is a thing. Never stop, never stopping is not a thing.
Sometimes you just got to smite on.
I mean, that's the truth. We can all agree on that one. So, Team Rival certainly trying to keep the pedal to the metal here. They don't want to slow down whatsoever. Jigz on the Sylvanus. They love this pick, but it just has not been as successful as I think Soar had anticipated.
Not at all. 8.5 minutes. Team Rival, very comfortable in the lead currently. They were looking for some invades earlier on. Not going to find anything too much as their own camps have a respawn. They're going to have to figure out what kind of pathing they want to take as this Wlfy is about to respawn in 10 seconds. And the Fire Giant, along with a Portal Demon, spawning for the first time in about 1 minute.
We'll see which direction that one goes in. Obviously, well, you know what? I won't say obviously. Team Rival have a 3,000 gold lead at 9 minutes, so maybe they will go for the 10-minute Fire Giant, but I don't think that's exactly to happen. fineokay on the Robin selection uses the flip kick a little bit early, and because of that, Rama Invicta earns Team Rival kill number 3.
Oh, the root into the crush, but nice beats to prevent the damage. Still going to get stunned out. I'm a monster, not on the mark, but the tremors making it very difficult. iceicebaby having to retreat.
Oh my god, Homiefe going to get turned around on. Deathwalker can't find the kill. I love what iceicebaby did there. Moved, he came forward knowing the Cabrakan was going to ultimate, and then immediately went in the other direction. He had no intention of going in the direction that Homiefe blocked off. So there goes one ability. Understanding that the stun is going to come as well, jukes out of that one, and then seeing the mid laner at the corner of his eye, jukes away from that ability as well, the I'm a monster, and then finds himself out thanks to the Storm Kata, saving the dash for when Tremors comes. Figured out the whole situation, played it fantastically.
Well, no juking or escaping for fineokay as he was the victim of that solo lane gank from Team Rival, and that was a nicely executed play from Rival, but a rather misstep from fineokay because he used his immunity frames a little bit too early, still got hit by the Typhoon. I would have liked to see him use his ultimate just to get away from the Typhoon, and then upon expecting the Eagles rally, that's when he used the overhead kick, basically negating all that damage.
Gold Fury being started one more time by Team Rival. This time Vetium knows, but he just can't do anything about it. Team Rival stretched their lead even further. It's 3-0, 10.5 in, and right now the gold is significantly in Team Rival's favor. We're looking at almost 5K, Toli.
And 4,000 experience to boot. This is going to be interesting to see how Soar can basically try to fight from behind here. In their earlier set against E United, a little bit of back and forth action, but this time around started things off very slow.
So I want to talk about this Robin pick. Like I said, a lot of times we don't see characters because they're just not that strong. But at the moment, I think that there are very few unplayable gods in Smite. And in fact, one of those gods that I would consider unplayable was played Apwash, and he was played pretty damn well. So we look at a character like Ravana, as the blue buff is secured, and there's damage coming out as Homiefe takes out iceicebaby. Deathwalker could be next, surrounded by 3 Soar jerseys, but instead he's got some support from his support and his mid lane, and that should be a disengage, and it will be. fineokay on the Ravana. Why do we see the beat 'em up guy?
Trying to match the burst potential and the bulliness, rather, out of Deathwalker playing the Bellona. Obviously, you can use that overhead kick just to avoid the bludgeon damage, and not only that, you're avoiding the important Kraken damage. So once you go in and dive that backline in these team fights, you're trying to bait that important cooldown, allowing the safety of the rest of your teammates.
That's the big deal right there. Deathwalker surrounded one more time. A little bit of help from Collis, but not enough. The jump and up down out of the Bellona is strong, and Jigz is in trouble. One more shot. Wlfy takes him down.
fineokay, though, having to retreat under his own tower. Look at Homiefe, though, taking a lot of poke in return. Not too much survivability here for the members of Soar. Getting pulled back in as Andinster Typhoon knocking out the former jungler.
He's about the 2-1-2. Strong showing for the jungler, iceicebaby. Deathwalker not going to let fineokay live. And here, iceicebaby from around the backside. Nice heads-up play by fineokay, but it's just a good showing. Deathwalker likely to fall down this time. Homie gets the kill, but a great play by iceice.
Trying to knock out the walls there. Not enough hits to be able to knock out that Cabrakan wall. But yes, just like that, finding a 1-for-1 under that tier 1 solo tower. Bought enough time for the rest of Rival to be able to secure that Portal Demon. 750 gold under their pocket. Even Vote pushing out the entire wave before backing.
So returning to the conversation about this Ravana selection, I think you hit the nail on the head. When you see a god like Poseidon start to dominate the meta, a lot of the choices that come through are gods that will directly counter it. We saw Lobster play Soul yesterday, immunity frames for the Kraken. We see Chang'e picked or banned in virtually every contest, immunity frames for the Kraken. Well, guess what fineokay has on the Ravana? Immunity frames for the Kraken. He was able to get away there, away from the Kraken for that reason, but later on died to some of the damage a little bit later.
You spoke about the immunity frames on other characters such as the Chang'e. In the beginning of the Gauntlet, we saw so many bans of this god in the North American scene. Some picks here, some bans there in Europe, and now we have the North America versus the Europe best of 3 for seeding determination, and neither of these teams electing to ban or pick this dancer.
You know, it's interesting. Looking at Homiefe and iceicebaby, just simply not sure how well they can play it. For example, I know that Viriziel just doesn't play Chang'e out of choice. It's not the jungle that he wants to go for. And so maybe that's the attitude that Ice and Homiefe have.
Which is surprising to hear that out of Viriziel, because before, back in the day, when his squad used to be known as Enemy, he liked to play these utility-style junglers, or he would play gods such as Thor that would initiate in a utility fashion, going for a lot of defenses with cooldown reduction.
That is very true. With that said, I mean, the way he was playing Hun Bats, unfortunately, his team falls to Energy at the end of the day in the loser's bracket. But, I mean, the way he's playing Hun Bats was fantastic. I even liked the creativity. Instead of going the overhand smash at level 1, going for the jump, a lot of utility there. So, you know, he might not be the Chang'e player, but he's still reaching deep into those draws for the up-the-sleeve type tactics and strategies.
Definitely having found his own identity. Still needs to find their own identity as EU United in terms of going into that summer split, as they didn't reach Masters. But both of these teams here that you see on your screen have reached Masters. They're just fighting for their seeding.
Exactly. And you know what? This is also, you know, you're fighting for a little bit more. Soar came into the split and look at the names besides fineokay. Look at Homiefe and Andy and Jigz and Vetium, and no disrespect to fineokay. I'm talking more about the legacy of what these players have done. These are some of the 4 more notable names in the league. And then Team Rival, 5 up-and-comers. Kalas' claim to fame, being a substitute for Trixtank. So when you look at where Team Rival has been, where they've come, and where they sit now, this is so much less about seeding for the European team and so much more about telling the world and the fans of the SPL, we are the real deal. Vote for us for FP.
Oh, blink initiation though. Kalas gonna zone out Homiefe, knock up into the root. I'm a monster by Andinster waiting around the corner.
And there it is, gonna hit vote, but not for much. Still not enough damage on that mid-mage. And he's gonna find safety in the mid lane thanks to the Sentinel. And that will be the end of that team fight. iceicebaby just here to clean up some of the vision. Kalas gonna intercept some damage out of Vetium, but he's gonna do it too much, and he'll be taken down by the permafrost.
Calder still chasing out iceicebaby, forced to jet stream away. Kraken hitting Andinster. Wlfy getting knocked up by the Wrath of Terror. Jigz credited with that one. fineokay diving onto Vote, just slowing him down a little bit further. Fury for the picking.
Kalas did not need to die there whatsoever, Anatoly. Kalas dies. Wlfy tries to help him out, dies as well. All because Kalas takes the wrong pathing. The Gold Fury is going to go the way of Soar, unless Team Rival can do something crazy, but they cannot. Soar get the Gold Fury, Deathwalker tries, and Vetium punishes him. 2 kills in total for the Hunter.
Finally, Soar respond with a Gold Fury of their own. Now it's at around the 17-minute mark, putting themselves still in the driver's seat here. They're only down 3,000 gold. They've basically cut the deficit by about 2,000, and at this point, it's not a bad idea for Soar to just stay grouped up here. They've been able to win a lot of these team fights so far this weekend, and as long as they don't fall too far behind in the experience department, they're still going to be able to swing things in their favor.
And I want to take a moment to talk about relative gold and how important these leads are based on the clock. We're 17.5 in and 11 kills with Rival owning 6 of them, and they're ahead by about, like you said, 2 to 3. Now, we made a really big deal about a 2,000 to 3,000 gold lead earlier on when it was 4 minutes. Why don't you explain how much different the 4-minute 3K gold lead is to the 17-minute gold lead?
Well, at the 17-minute mark, that 2K gold lead has already been basically spent on a bunch of potions and wards for each and every single player. You're basically getting about tier 1 item. A tier 1 item at 17 minutes versus a tier 1 item at about, 5 minutes or even less than 10, that's going to give you a bigger power curve the earlier it is.
So as you get later in the game, your items become more powerful, and that gold becomes more important. Jigz in trouble. Gets hit by the mid lane ultimate. There comes the ultimate out of Andinster as well. Nobody dead just yet. Kalas tosses 2 directly into Wlfy's tidal surge, but it's just not enough to claim a life. Calder, he'll be walking away thanks to a couple shots from the Hunter. And Vote and his crew will group up as 5 in the mid lane, but very quickly, well, You know where the jungler's going. He's going to speed buff.
Has to be able to get something here with Wlfy still down, Portal Demon available to the taking, and I like the composition from Rival to deal with this Chaldeer. Wlfy having the multi-pronged trident as well, though with the Rama, the double shots.
One more time, too deep, gets taken advantage of and slapped back to the base. Vetium, again, on the good side above the support. That's the second time we've seen that happen.
Skadi has just been able to really melt these tanks. Just look at the item choices for Vetium. It's just all pure penetration, waiting for the damage. A lot of hits. Andinster taking out Deathwalker, and Team Rival secure it.
They snatch away the Portal Demon right there, despite Soar trying their best to zone out and make it their own. 2 players do die, Collis earlier on, so Deathwalker, the only one that dies in this exchange. Soar still unable to find the objective, but they do find the players. Wlfy goes down for the second time this game.
fineokay used his overhead kick just to cut the distance a little bit closer to Wlfy to throw out that root. Great use of mechanics from this new soul laner for Soar. And like we were praising him earlier on so far this weekend, you know, he only had 1 death before coming into this set, but he was struggling earlier on as Rival were kind of sitting in his lane a little bit, already doubling his death counter.
You know, I'm still a fan of what fineokay has been doing for Soar. You know, if you told me last year that, hey, look, Soar, you're going to lose Baskin, you're going to gain Challenger Cup player. I'd say, all right, I'll see you in relegations, buddy. How's it going? But instead, fineokay he's been crushing it. He's been really, really one of the stronger players here on the Soar roster, and it's been a pleasure watching him not just affect the game, but also learn and grow. Rival snuck away 2 objectives earlier on, but they were Gold's Furies. This time they're looking for the Fire Giant. Ice gets in trouble, and the Soar and Team Rival will leash the Fire Giant as Soar gets a little bit closer. I like the shot, but I think it was a little bit too soon.
Really aggressive was iceicebaby, and confident to be able to peek his head around the corner and take the 1v2 encounter, being able to strip away the speed buff from Homiefe, and that is going to decrease the mobility from this Cabrakan that wants to get in position to basically smack you with his big overhead clubs.
Absolutely. What an animated character he is. He's a lot of fun to see. He's a lot of fun to cast. I don't think he's a lot of fun to play against, which is why he's one of the most banned characters in our league.
It's funny every time you see a Cabrakan just running at you with his 1 steroid. It seems like he's like kind of a seal clapping at you. We need a seal Cabrakan.
We do not. Only if it's the guy. Only if it's the singer. That's what I want to see. I want to see Seal. I want to see Seal kissed by a rose. That's what I want to see. 21-21 on the clock here, folks. 8-6 as Soar leading in the kills, but trailing in the gold. About 2,000 separate our teams, and with the Oracles going the way of the red squad, it's going to be 1,900 wave to wave.
Pretty much an even game at this point, heading into the 22-minute mark between Soar and Team Rival. With a little bit of a lead, it's insignificant at this point. Every single minute is making this 1,500 experience that less meaningful.
So Cabrakan gets a seal skin, and Amusement Cobb gets a Sting skin.
I'm down.
And he just goes around singing Desert Rose. I have way too much fun here. I'm
Aphrodite
sorry,
needs a
folks.
kiss skin.
All right, you know what? I'm with it. I'm absolutely with it. And right now, Team Rival, they have unfortunately watched their lead go on the side of Soar. They were commanding this game before Toli. And just like our cast sort of got out of control, the game got out of control for Team Rival. Soar was able to snatch back a lot of the momentum that Team Rival was able to really handle earlier on. What do you think allowed Soar back in this one?
It was just the aggressiveness from Callus that didn't respect the damage from the
Wlfy's in
Skadi.
trouble. He's got nowhere to go. And with the assistance from iceicebaby, it's going to help him out. But Andy takes down Wlfy. Deathwalker deals with Vetium, and it's a 1-for-1 so far. The chase for iceicebaby will still be going. Andy on his tail. iceicebaby knows it. Forces out the dash.
The speed buff with the Susano passive allows the iceicebaby to escape. Andinster Wlfy, however, being started out by Soar, 4-on-4.
Big med.
Without Vetium, though, that's a lot of damage not being dealt.
And that's going to be Bellona jumping right on top, getting a stun, hitting so many players with the bludgeon. And there's Collis with the washing machine, tossing 2 players directly towards the team. Not done yet. iceicebaby trying to find it, jumping over the crush, and Homiefe relatively low. Vote. Basic. Basically, you're dead. iceicebaby takes it away, steals the kill from the hunter, but I think he's fine. It's 4 in total for the jungle.
No way to get away from Vote out with a Fatalis and that Rom steroid proc. It's basically reminds me of the old Xing Wei days whenever she had that Fatalis effect, being able to really chase you down, but without Jigz here, it's only Andinster, and he doesn't have his ultimate.
Nah, with that, the Gold Fury goes the way of Team Rival one more time. That'll be their third Gold Fury of the game. Their first one at 4 minutes, secretly taken away. With the Gold Fury, that puts Team Rival 5,000 gold in the lead here at 24 minutes. Soar might have more kills, but Team Rival are able to take their lead and look for the next step.
Okay, so now you're getting to the point where it's a 1,000 gold lead per player. That's going to be a substantial amount in terms of getting a tier 1 item and additional sentry wards. And these sentry wards will be placed around the fire giant where it truly matters in this mid game here. The portal demon giving you the mobility that you need to be able to get out of a team fight and get back into it very quickly, especially once this fire giant get started back up.
I want to applaud Wlfy. Hold on, Deathwalker. All right. I really want to applaud Wlfy on this build. I absolutely love what the Poseidon brings out here. Power Boots and the Spear of the Maggots very, very early on. Obviously, the Whirlpool is going to stack up to 5 stacks on that Whirlpool, on that Spear very, very quickly. And plus having a very damaging support, that's going to amplify Xing Qian's damage as well. You got the necessary healing reduction and the Gem of Isolation. Love what this Poseidon is doing today.
Having the damage with the penetration boots and the Spear of the Maggots and going for a more utility style. fineokay getting healed by Jigz. The rest of Rival still looking for a pick as they're basically flirting with the idea behind completing this portal demon.
Halfway down is Fire Giant Jr. Soar in the vicinity, looking to snatch it away. There's the leash, there's the pull, there's the Kraken. That'll confirm it for Team Rival. There's the ultimate out of iceicebaby as well, but Deathwalker low himself gets hit by Andy, gets smoked by Homiefe. Ground pound to bound coming out from the Cabrakan, but it's enough to disengage. Team Rival will lose their solo later, but gain the portal demon. Totally, I know the answer for Gold's Fury, but how do you feel about trading your solo laner for a portal demon?
Considering Soar's not really pulling this fire giant, it's completely worth it. You're still getting the overall benefit of the gold. 750 gold total for your team, and Soar's not getting 750 gold collectively by just killing Deathwalker.
And with that in mind, 4,900 gold in the lead is Team Rival. Look at that graph. That's a story in and of itself. Up, down, up, down. This game has been not back and forth, back and forth. Instead, it's been 2 or 3 separate stages of either team running the game. And I really enjoy this one. And right away, Team Rival coming right on in here, and they're gonna start with the Fire Giant. A couple of members from Soar are local, and it looks like the guys on Team Rival not ready to full commit just yet.
Just baiting out Soar a little bit. The Calder got baited to the point to get off all those 5 hit markers. Could look to potentially look for more bait potential, but just now reviving and getting back into the thick of things. A Rival with a full 5-man squad against Soar, looking for some kind of opportunity here.
And what opportunity will that be? I think Soar is going to be looking for a pick, most likely. They're down, but certainly not out of it. 5K is not a death sentence by any means. And I think Soar certainly have to start looking for these 1 or 2 players that are left straggling. The tier 1 tower on the right-hand side was barely alive, so Team Rival pick up the 500 easy for that tower.
Nice opportunity taken advantage of. Soar couldn't really respond, but they're responding right now with a nice double knockup into the pull. iceicebaby with a knockup of his own straight onto Jigz.
And Vote's going to get credit for that one. Nice, easy play as the collapse from Team Rival just punishes the Soar support. He's down for about 33 seconds.
Wlfy, though, very low. Has to be careful with his mindset in terms of positioning around this team fight. Has to go back to the base before overstepping his boundaries around this fire giant. Soar recognizing this, still posturing, considering they have oldest vision. 2 regular wards, 1 behind fire giant, 1 on the bottom side, even a sentry ward right next to it. Rival without any vision has to be mindful about how they engage.
I like that CC coming out of the Skadi. Although if I'm Homiefe, I don't want the Hunter coming directly at me right now. Homiefe trying to figure out a good spot to go to. Team Rival, I love the split up, left and right side. Andy's backing. I wonder if Rival understand that.
Well, I think Callus definitely caught it around the corner, being able to spot that out. Vo could easily try to look for the Fire Giant here. He has a really great late game build, finishing off the Chin Size and the Executioner with the Ichabal. Not to mention, he has this attack speed steroid. We saw Rival flirting with the idea of Fire Giant. If Soar even think about backing and Rival spot it out, they're going to go for this objective.
Exactly. That's what I was. That was a very dangerous situation for Andy to find himself in. But as soon as you see the teams fan out, now you're a little bit more poised to go ahead and back safely without anything really to worry about. So Oracles, the smallest of the objectives, will be taken. So Soar gets the free vision over there on the Gold Fury side.
Wlfy has respawned now. It's the 5th one available so far in the game. Neither team wanting to go for it.
That's actually really interesting as iceice finds himself in a bit of trouble. The huge burst. He's able to avoid the damage out of the mid lane, but the ground pound gets the better of him. Fire Giant is still dead. Team Rival pick it up as everybody else distracted by the lone jungler. Kalas might be in trouble. He picks up the dog and tosses him away, and he'll walk away clean and clear.
Great ultimate too, because Kaldir ultimate was being procced. Andinster with the root into the crush. Second death for Team Rival. Vote and gets pulled back in from Jigz. Eagles rally in the backline. Deathwalker with a hot bludgeon. Vote with some snipes too. Needs to find a third for Vetium. Not on the mark.
Nice little dodge away coming out from Vetium. Lovely play from Soar as a unit. They get distracted and they take down the jungler while Team Rival deal with the Fire Giant. But they're able to get together and take out the support and really push Team Rival back. With that in mind, there are 3 people that still have the Fire Giant and perhaps 3 of the more dangerous people.
I was actually going to mention those 3 members of Team Rival with the Fire Giant. Your 2 hyper carry damage dealers on the form of Wlfy with the magic damage and Vote the late game Ram physical damage. Completing his 6th item, that Titan's Bane, having the 33% physical penetration in the late game. Great crush from Andinster over the wall.
And Vote's going to be in trouble. Dodges at least some of the damage out of fineokay. And he's going to be controlled, followed up by the jungler. But everybody else from Soar will be present, forcing the jungle away. iceicebaby gets smacked by Homiefe. Cabrakan dealing a ton of damage, but iceicebaby's still able to be safe. Getting chased by the dog, but ultimately Kalas will protect him. Nobody dies on the side of Team Rival.
No, but Soar do secure the portal demon. Andinster a little low, having to back to base. Could easily look to go back into the thick of things. This Gold Fury has still been standing for quite a while, considering how many times this objective has been completed thus far. I'm surprised that neither team has looked at it.
Well, that's what Soar's doing right now. Half HP on the Gold Fury. And, well, this looks like the 4-minute Gold Fury that Rival had. Nobody is anywhere near it. And it goes down. If a Gold Fury falls in the woods and no one's there, does it make a sound? I don't know, but it still certainly winds up on the grass. Soar cutting the lead just a little bit. Now trailing by just underneath 4K.
Well, Rival still with Fire Giant for another minute and a half. They're looking to push down this dual lane tower. Callus leading the charge, making sure that they have this vision control between the red and the purple, allowing the safety net, not allowing any flank opportunity for Soar Gaming as Tier 1 gets absolutely melted. Tier 2, the next in line for Team Rival.
I really need to see Team Rival successfully take this one. Let's listen in with Rival as they attack Soar's Tier 2.
So they're just tank from the side.
I have a lot of regen, so it's fine.
Okay.
Can you?
Where is Scylla? Oh, she's around the red.
I have ult up.
Just wait for my...
I have everything up.
Just wait for me to get full HP. Like, we can win poke if I'm the one taking the poke.
Like Skadi's gonna have the shit though.
Yeah, Skadi will get his shit up there.
We should go in then, like this way.
Okay. They're coming to you, guys, be careful. Skadi and Cab boots. Scylla and
I'm just zoning Skadi out.
Nice kill. Cab's on the side.
I'm on me for mid.
I'm coming.
Okay,
I pop chill.
Fight.
Yeah, I'm ulti Skadi.
Cab's gonna be taken.
Cap, guys.
Get cap.
Get this motherfucker. Skadi. I'm back. Quite long. Careful for the Scylla. Like we can die.
Yeah, we have to. I'll zone her. I'm just gonna run into her.
Yeah. Okay.
Tank. Go fast. She's gonna get around. She's going this way.
Okay. I don't think we can end. We can't end.
Get mid tower.
Can regen from fire.
Yeah, we're regening, so it's fine.
Okay, well, I'm not. Oh yeah, you feel his shield, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, I'm
we're
not
not
regenning
regenning
either, so.
I tank this shit.
It's gonna be...
We can board the left.
I really love what Team Rival was doing there. That one of the louder voices you were hearing was Deathwalker. And what he was saying was, yo, listen, I can take the poke. You can poke me as hard as you want. I'm going to regen it because of the Stone of Gaia. Of course, he had the Fire Giant, but he said, look, let me get in front of you. I'll take the poke. As long as I'm the one with the poke, my HP 5s can heal it up and we can deal.
Without any sustain options for Team Rival, you have to be creative about how you take some of these encounters and recognizing the regen from Deathwalker, as well as Kalas's HP 5 from the Thebes.
Right.
And you have the Sovereignty, and you're going to have your passive on the Xing. So truly, either one of those tanks could be able to absorb and sponge a lot of the damage coming out of Soar.
Look at that last item that Poseidon just picks up, Tully.
Oh, God.
It's going to be that magical protection, Bulwark of Hope. We see this item few and far between. Used to be very, very popular. Now comes out only in moments where there's a god that can kind of one-shot you.
I like the idea because if we look at the player damage charts, Andinster is at the top of it for not only his teammates, but in the whole entire game. If you mitigate the crush into the Amma monster and you survive it, you're preventing that execution to not only keep yourself alive, but to keep the rest of your teammates alive as well.
Fire Giant half HP will be leashed by the guys on Team Rival as Soar get a little bit closer. Collins goes deep, tosses Vetium right into the Kraken. Wlfy on top of it, out of control. 3 kills for the mid lane. Andy drops his ultimate and Ice drops him. Vote drops the Jigz, and this one looks like it's all Rival. Double kill for the Hunter. 17-12, Rival on the march.
They're looking so strong. They took out Energy Esports earlier on, 2-1. They win the first game here against Soar Gaming, celebrating in the skies. Vote laying down the artillery.
This is some of my favorite stuff as the Fountain claims the last kill of the game, not just in Smite, but in competition in general. I don't care what you're watching. The story of players sticking together through thick and through thin. This was objectively not a great team once upon a time, and as they grind and as they find wins, they find themselves repeatedly getting stronger and stronger. Here they are looking at winning a LAN.
I mean, just look at their objective mindset. You look at the same squad in Season 3, they're not going for these 4 to 5 minute gold furies, these 10-minute gold furies. Having a 5,000 gold lead is a foreign subject of discussion whenever we mention any player from Team Rival.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun watching these guys really do the work. And because they put in the homework, they're coming through with the grades. Absolutely A+ from this caster, looking at the way that we see Team Rival really work out. And I'm excited to look at Game 2 in all honesty. So, you know what? Without further ado, let's break down Game 1.
Thank you very much, guys. Welcome back to the desk. Game 1, Rival now 1 game away from winning a LAN. It just absolutely blows me away. And they're just playing all so well still. This time it was vote on Rama, I think, was the big difference maker there. But of course, everyone from Rival had another solid game here, Taco.
And I guess now we're starting to realize more and more why it is exactly that EU doesn't favor the Cabrakan and Skadi as much as the NA meta. I think they're onto something, because if Soar is going to lose with those 3 picks of Skadi, Cabrakan, Sylvanus, I can guarantee you any NA team that has been through the studios today would have said, get me out before 10 minutes looking at that draft.
I mean, can that happen, Chapo, where you feel like your draft is so good that you don't have to like execute quite as well in game? Can you get too comfortable with the draft?
Yeah, you can. You know, looking at you're so confident with your drafts, so you're like, okay, you know, we're gonna Sylvanus ult, then follow up. We're gonna follow up off each other because we know what we're doing. We have a Cabrakan, we know that he's just gonna face plant to the team. But you know, when the way they're playing as a unit in the team fights, moving up, moving back, knowing who to take poke, you could hear it in their comms. They're like, oh, let me soak poke. I got stone. I could tank damage, and then we could look for the fight. And the other communication was great.
That's the big thing. I mean, going back to Rival from last year, and even Kalas here during his player interview, he was saying that I think that our mechanics are really good, but our team comms still need work. Well, their comms seem very, very clean, very, very calm and collected as well. And if that's all it took, then the difference is very, very clear. Either way, all of Rival absolutely killing it right now. But again, it goes back to vote on the ROM. Absolutely destroyed Vetium not necessarily in lane, but in terms of just these team fight damage, he just always seemed to shred the front line that was right in front of him.
And as a Ram, what better hunter to do it with? It's just also the fact that he didn't die. Like, he was just a part of every single one of these team fights, consistently following up on Deathwalker setup, even playing the aggression role without any concern in the world. And that's exactly what you want to see out of a hunter like Homiefe. You want him to step up and just show that he's not afraid to consistently go in.
Look at that healing there. Soar had quite a bit of it, courtesy of that Sylvanus, mostly for Jigz, but still not enough to punch through the amount of damage that Rival was doing.
Even looking at those stats, the healing is on Soar's side. The damage is very close. So what's winning the game? Execution. They see the Sylvanus come up out of position. They have Susano in the back line, and it's opening up the map for Rama just to slay whoever's in front of him.
And that build was very appropriate for Vote because he was only hitting who was in front of him. He wasn't trying to get into that back line, so crit really wasn't necessary in that build because it's more effective to build the chin size pen sort of option up against those tanky targets.
And this has been the favorable build for Ram that I've noticed coming out of the EU hunters, especially, where they just want to consistently push for the Ickful, the chin size, Titan's Bane, Fatalis, because with the Fatalis on top of all that penetration and attack speed, you're going to be able to gas pedal down whoever you decide to chase.
And Vo was doing quite a bit. I mean, Jigz had a tough time, though, in that game, guys, on the Sylvanus. You mentioned it time and time again, Chapo. He was just a little bit too far forward, really dying a lot of times before he could get his meditation or his shell off.
In my opinion, I think it was because the disruption of Susano. He was getting ahead in the early game. He was getting to Scylla, so what happens is the Cabrakan turns around to help the Scylla, and Sylvanus is like, hey guys, I'm kind of slow. Okay, I'm dead.
Well, that's what happened. Jigz on that Sylvanus, 0.8 for the KDA. May want to change it up this time around. Like we said, Sylvanus was prevalently picked all on Friday, basically for these NA teams moving up the Gauntlet. Then he kind of fell off. Maybe you could see why these European teams seem to know how to punish the immobile tree.
And they did so excellently, and again, that draws back to Wlfy on that Poseidon. Anytime that he saw Jigz even remotely out of position in comparison to the rest of his squad, he would just immediately drop the Whirlpool, slow him down, and once you're a Sylvanus, you already don't have the mobility, and if you're forced to pop your ultimate, your team loses a lot of engagement. And that's exactly what kept happening to Soar.
Vote was the one shredding Jigz in that front line. That's the man you see on your screen right there. Him and the rest of Team Rival are one win away from being the top seed out of the Spring Gauntlet and putting their first LAN victory underneath their belt. Their drafts have been fairly standard throughout. I mean, a couple spicy picks. We keep bringing up the Apache, the Kali as well for iceicebaby. Do you think that Rival is just going to stick with their guns? Because Deathwalker is now 5-5 on Bellona, if I believe so. 5-4-5, I should say. Five times played, 5 Ws for that Bellona. Why not just first pick it at this point, right? It's a guaranteed win.
I agree. He's just dominating the right side of the map. He died more than he did in the prior games, but he's still zoning and doing what he needs to do on Bellona.
Yeah,